We just got the biggest Diablo news drop possibly ever. Warlock, the new class confirmed coming for not just Diablo 4, but also simultaneously to Diablo Immortal and to Diablo 2 Resurrected. Diablo 2 Resurrected out of nowhere, getting the Reign of the Warlock massive update. We also learned more about Diablo 4's upcoming War Plans endgame update, the talisman system, charms, sets, the Heraldric Cube, loot filter, and then they teased something even bigger happening in Diablo at BlizzCon in September. Hey folks, this is Rhykker, and I'm more hyped about Diablo than I've been in quite a while. The Diablo 30th anniversary event kicked off today with a cinematic, which was actually 3 cinematics basically spliced together, showing 3 separate warlocks, each in different styles, each doing their own thing, and we realized eventually, because it's all 3 Diablo games, Immortal, D2R, and D4, are each getting a warlock, and they're all distinct and separate while still being unified. The D2R warlock represents chronologically the earliest version, but over the generations, these warlock powers evolved and changed, and by the time we get to Diablo 4, we have the ultimate form of the warlock. So in D2R, he starts off as just sort of like dabbling with this magic, right? It's calling back to the lore of the Vigeri, the Spirit Clan, the original summoners of demons, and so he's just kind of like a heretic. And then by the time we're in the Diablo Immortal days, they're a step further into that, wielding the power of demons sort of thing, and by the time we're in D4, they are full-blown fighting fire with fire. This is the coolest warlock I have ever seen in any game. Now, I'll start by talking more about the Diablo 2 Reign of the Warlock update, then we'll talk about the Diablo 4 update. So in D2R, the Warlock's going to have a few distinct tools in his kit, and the first is the ability to summon 3 distinct types of demons: Goatmen, Tainted, and Defilers. On top of that, the Warlock can either bind or consume almost any demon in the game. So binding a demon is basically binding a demon, binds it to your will, it works for you. You can only have 1 bound demon at a time. And this binding allows you to benefit from that demon's unique abilities, and it strengthens both you and the demon. Alternatively, you can consume a demon, which is going to kill it, and you're going to absorb its essence, and it's going to give you a temporary buff. And that buff includes increased life and move speed, but then on top of that, depending on what demon, it's going to come with some other buff. And that buff could potentially be plus to all skills, or it could be giving you an aura. So altogether in your kit, you can have 1 summoned demon, 1 bound demon, and then 1 demon whose essence you've consumed. So given how many types of demons there are in the game, there's hundreds of possible permutations here to customize your warlock how you want. But it's not just about demons. You could be a pure caster if you want, focusing on chaos magic. You also summon Hellfire. There's also Eldritch skills that let you levitate a weapon. You can see in the gameplay footage, it's hilarious. Now this update doesn't just add the Warlock, there's also other features as well. For those who know what terror zones are, right, this is a new endgame feature that was added to the game where zones in the endgame randomly become empowered. Higher, whatever, threat level, monster level, and therefore more and better loot is going to drop. Well, now you're going to have some degree of customization, some degree of agency over choosing which zone gets terrorized via a rare drop. It's a consumable that lets you supercharge a zone's difficulty and reward. Then they're adding an entire new pinnacle challenge. It starts in Hell, where you're going to randomly run into Heralds of Terror. These are very difficult monsters that are going to haunt you. And every time you defeat one, it's going to lead to a more challenging one coming after you. And once that leads to eventually the terrorized act bosses, it's going to drop basically a key that you're going to be using for the pinnacle fight, which is a Giga-empowered Ancients fight. On top of that, we're getting loot filters in Diablo 2. You can create your own, you can import, export easily from the community, from your friends. Plus, huge quality of life, we're getting advanced stash tabs. Stash tabs for our gems, for our runes, materials, items can stack. They've also effectively taken the idea of the Holy Grail of collecting all the items, and they're adding something called the Chronicle, which is going to keep track of every item you've ever found in the game, even tell you the date that you found it. There's even like cosmetics or rewards to unlock for collecting things. There's over 30 new items, including uniques, rune words, and more. And it's all available today. It's available right now. You can go grab it. It's, I think, $25 on Battle.net. And if you're a purist, if you're concerned about, oh, this is going to ruin Diablo 2, I liked it the way it was. Well, 2 things. First off, they worked with community streamers like Mr. Llama to beta test to ensure that this is pure and fitting with what Diablo 2 players want, but also you don't have to change to it. You can stick with the non-Reign of the Warlock version of the game in the same way that when Lord of Destruction released, right? Some people wanted to stick with classic D2. They can do that. You can even choose on a character-by-character basis, is my understanding, of whether you want to go over onto the Reign of the Warlock. But once you've ported a character over to Reign of the Warlock, you can't take them back. So that Diablo 2 news was absolutely mind-blowing to me. I did not expect anything on this scale for Diablo 2. Then for Diablo 4, we didn't get many more details on the Warlock other than on March 5th, we're going to have an entire update devoted to the Warlock. Basically just they're anti-heroes and they are harnessing the power of hell. They also spoke a bit about Skovos. They said that the capital city in Skovos, basically they suggested it's going to be our new Carragher, right? A lot of endgame players use Carragher as their town hub for the optimal layout. Well, apparently the town hub, the major town hub in Skovos is going to be optimized to basically have everything that we want really available to us, so that they imagine that that's going to be our new town hub for most players. Then they spoke about war plans. And between what they spoke about and what we can see in the footage, we know that this is a way to customize our endgame experience, personalize it, chase after the kinds of rewards that we want, while also giving us a form of meta progression. War plans let you pick a playlist of up to 5 endgame activities: Pit, Infernal Hordes, Helltide, Nightmare Dungeon, Lair Bosses, or Undercity, and then you pick the rewards that you're going to get. And each of these activities has a unique skill tree assigned to it, so the more that you do it, the more you progress that skill tree. And these skill trees will allow you to customize and modify how that activity plays. So as some examples we see for Infernal Hordes, you can take a point in the tree that makes you no longer gain gem fragments in Infernal Hordes, but instead gain bonus Obdicite. Or for Lair Bosses, you can take a node that makes the Amalgam of Rage ambush you during a boss fight within a Nightmare Dungeon, and if you kill him, he'll drop unique items associated with Astaroth. Or another point, when fighting a boss in a Nightmare Dungeon, the Beast in Ice can sometimes appear and attack you, and you'll drop items from the Beast of Ice's loot table. So it looks like the way a war plan works is you have this tree of activities, and you pick up to 5 of them. These activities will have objectives like do a pit, and some of these have rewards affiliated with them like a grand amount of jewelry spoils. Then you have to lock in your 5 choices for your war plan, and then I guess you run that until it's done. And there also seems to be some rank within the war plan, so ranking up your war plans will improve your rewards or something. Overall, this looks pretty promising. There's a lot more to learn about this system, but it's definitely hitting upon a lot of the stuff that I was hoping to see, which is contextualizing our endgame activities to give us more reason to do them, to give us some sense that we're working towards something greater. We'll see how this fits in with whatever else might be coming in the endgame. We'll see how this fits in with what new challenges there may be to tackle. For instance, they also spoke about a new endgame activity that's going to be very rare called Echoing Hatred. There's going to be a very rare key that you can find, and once you enter an Echoing Hatred, it's very much like an Echoing Nightmare in Diablo 3. You're going to fight an infinite wave of monsters that just keeps getting harder and harder, and the waves are pretty random. Like, you can have crazy things happen sometimes, or you're just fighting a bunch of bosses at once, which sounds awesome. Again, it escalates in difficulty, and the longer you can last, the more waves you get through, the better your reward in the end. Then we got a bit of a deeper look at the skill tree rework. These are skill twigs no more. The new skill trees seem to do away entirely with passive nodes. Instead, it's all about the skills and giving us a ton of way to customize our skills. In current D4, basically every skill has one free upgrade and then a binary choice between 2 slightly different modifiers. Now it seems like they're doing away with the free gimmies, and it's all about choice. It seems like the pick between the 2 binary modifiers is still there, but they doubled it, so you're picking between 2 modifiers twice, and then also there's like one major choice to make between 3 options that seems like it's going to alter how your skill works in a massive way, more similar to Diablo 3 skill runes. An example they gave was turning your Hydra into an Ice Hydra. People really need to understand that effectively all builds are going to change in Lord of Hatred. This is a complete disruption of the meta in a good way. Then they spoke about the Talisman. This is a new system that is their way of bringing set items into the game, as well as charms. Once you get your Talisman, charms will begin to drop. Charms are only active if they are placed inside the Talisman. So it seems like there will be two types of items that go into the talisman, seals and charms. Seals go into the center slot and are going to unlock charm slots. So there's this example here of this legendary seal that unlocks 5 charm slots. And then they gave us an example of 5 charms that are set charms of the narrow eye set, and the set charm items each individually do something, but then also have a set bonus that unlocks. We see at least 2 and 3-piece set bonus, and it's unclear if scrolling down would reveal more. And they said that charms can actually drop in any rarity, so it sounds like it's not just going to be set charms, but you can also have other charms too. They also gave us a look at the Horadric Cube. It looks like it's going to contain recipes within it. There are item transmutation recipes, there are gear modification recipes. The amalgamation recipe lets you transmute several of the same item to upgrade it. 3-to-1 lets you take 3 of the same kind of item and turn it into a new item of that type. Recycle uniques lets you take 3 of the same unique and re-roll it into a new version of that unique. So now when doing lair bosses, right, and you're like going for very specific affixes on a unique item and you keep finding bad version, well, now you can recycle those. You don't have to just sell them to vendors or break them down. Recycle and get extra rolls. There's upgrade to legendary, which turns a rare into a random legendary. We even see upgrade to unique. For gear modification, we see add affix. So this actually seems to make yellow items useful, probably even blues. You could get a base item and just add affixes onto it. Craft your own item. You don't have to wait for the right stats. We also see a chaotic reroll hidden there a bit. Probably means rerolling the attributes. And there's more options that are not seen. We see that the loot filter is going to allow us to recolor items. We can see we can customize whether it has the correct affixes, the correct greater affixes. Whether it's a codex upgrade, it's going to be able to check for that. That's great. Whether it's an ancestral, whether it is a particular rarity, whether it's within a particular item range, and we can see now that the max item range has risen to 900. And then they ended the whole presentation by again teasing pretty hard BlizzCon.
Are we clear? Are we good?
Right.
Oh my God, they're gonna freak out at BlizzCon when we announce it.
I don't know what more could be at BlizzCon at this point. At first I thought, okay, they're going to announce maybe the next expansion at BlizzCon, but it feels like they're teasing something bigger than an expansion. Could be Diablo 1 remake, could be something even more. I don't know, folks. Sound off in the comments with your thoughts on what the BlizzCon reveal is going to be at this point. This has been a bigger 30th anniversary than I expected, but what do you folks think? Sound off in the comments, because that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Diablo content.